everybody, ni hao. Welcome to the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour. We are here where icons have made history around the streets of Macau at Circuit de Guia. We've got 17 cars getting ready to head out for free practice one ahead of what is likely to be a very challenging and very fun weekend. So 17 cars, we've got our usual mix of our TCR World Tour drivers. In the mix, Pepe Oriola, who is behind the wheel of the third GOAT racing car. Also, let's welcome to the field Max Hart, who is just helmet on, getting in behind the wheel, getting ready to head out for free practice one. So Max has got a rather good history around the streets of Macau, and I'd quite like to find out exactly what it takes to take a win here. While we're waiting for him to get ready to have a little chat, let's not forget that this is where the title showdown comes down. 34 points split Jan Erlaché and Ted Bjork. Ted won here last year. Jan has yet to win. Add that to his list of accolades. He'll be trying to do that this weekend. But you are someone who has history of winning here. Not the easiest of places to win, though. Welcome to the TCR World Tour field. Are you ready, Max?
Oh, I'm getting ready. I'm in no rush here. I'm back of the pack, so I'll have a little bit of time. But yeah, as you were saying, I love Macau. It's an extraordinary place. I absolutely love it. I have a bit of good history here, I guess, but I've got some redemption that I need to get over the line this year after a bad year last year. So yeah. I'm really looking forward to getting out.
Good. We look forward to seeing how that pans out for you, Max. You carry on getting ready. Right, all the fun about to begin. Let's get ready. Free practice one, free practice two today, qualifying tomorrow, and the races. Race one, race two over the weekend. Oh, we've still got a minute or so. In that case, let's have a quick word to Pepe, who's behind the wheel. Sorry, Pepe, I'm just going to ruin. There you go. It's very nice to have you behind the wheel again. Is there something for you about redemption back in Macau, or is it that you just were itching to get back around these streets?
Hello, Alexandra. Yeah, nice to be back in the race car. Macau is always special, so really looking forward to enjoy the experience. Different than other times because I'm not playing for anything. My life is not to be a professional driver looking for a contract next year, so I'm going to try to enjoy the maximum, and let's see how it goes.
I look forward to seeing how it goes. Well done. Best of luck, Pepe. I'll let the grown-ups do that. Yeah, okay, so like I said, Jan Erlaché and Ted Bjork, they're the two to keep an eye on this weekend. This is the title showdown. There's 34 points that split them. Everything to play for. The gloves are very much off. There's no team orders, of course. It really is coming down to the battle between the two of them. As we know in Macau, the most important session will be qualifying. But today's free practice one, free practice two is really to try and get the best setup so that they absolutely nail that qualifying session. No other news for you right now. Look forward to seeing how this free practice one goes, and then we'll have a bit of a roundup after. I shall hand you over to the commentators. Enjoy!
Green flag is ready to be shown then to get the cars out on track for this first free practice session for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour event of Macau. It forms the Macau gear race, and it also, of course, is the championship showdown as well between, as you've been hearing, Jan Erlaché and Ted Bjork. 34 points split. When we get to qualifying, we have to factor in the points there for the top six, starting on the 15 basis for pole position, but we'll worry about that, as I say, when we get to qualifying. First up, they have this free practice session, a little bit of data to try and bring back. David Anderson and Alan Hyde are trackside. The cars then in the holding area, ready to be released out onto the circuit with the Lincoln Coes at the head of the pack. And as you've been hearing, Pepe Oriola making a very welcome return. Max Hart, very much a late entry, but it's great to have him on the grid. It's a slightly smaller entry, perhaps, than we've had in recent seasons. That might, therefore, take some of the chaos out of it and give us two really good races without fear of interruption.
When you say last-minute call-up for Max Hart, it couldn't be more last minute. Just enough time to get a flight over and to get himself ready to be in the car. And the car was wrapped yesterday in the colour scheme. And he only got here yesterday. So a really last-minute call-up. Imagine what you'd be doing. You've got plans for the weekend. You're going to be doing this and that. and then you get the phone call saying, do you want to go over to Macau? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, okay.
Can you pack me a bag? And I think it was a question of that. Max he got his girlfriend to pack a bag for him while he ran around doing all the other things. Just incredible, and it's super to have him here. He's the 2023 winner of the Macau Touring Car Cup here at Macau, so he really does have a good pedigree. And last year was, so he was bad luck last year. There is unfinished business for Max this weekend.
Yeah, he's been a race winner in the European Championship this season, but it's good to have him here as you go on board then with Ted Bjork, who needs a good free practice to be in a good place for qualifying, because he desperately needs every point he can get. 34 does sound like a lot, but then there are 75 available. So actually 34 isn't quite the deficit you might think.
I always thought that it was such a challenge for any driver to come to Macau for the final rounds of a championship, and particularly in touring cars, which is known around the Macau circuit to be pretty challenging and sometimes a little robust as well. But to have championships decided here in Macau, wow, you've got to be on top of your game.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that Ted Bjork is attacking this, he's managed to get everybody else and put the road to himself, which is a savvy idea, because you don't want cars around you. You want to be able to have as much of the circuit to yourself as you possibly can. All the engineers then staring at data, looking at the pictures. This is the championship opposition. This is Yann Elaché, the nephew of Ivan Muller, but Mum Kathy raced here in the 80s in the Formula 3 Grand Prix. And Yann Elaché yet to win at Macau, as Alex Legui was saying. The opposition, though, to the Lincoln Co's comes from the Hyundais that had a pretty bad start to the season. They rather struggled with the altitude in Mexico, so they've been on the back foot ever since. But around here, don't rule out the likes of Norman Mikkelich, Nestor Girolami, or Michael Ashkener, who's had a really tough season. Elaché then, up towards the line. As it goes through, behind that winner in Valencia, in 2 of the races there. He also had a win in Villarreal, and more recently at Zhuzhou. So 4 victories for Yann Elaché over the course of the season. His championship rival won the opener in Mexico. He won 1 at Villarreal and had a 3rd win at Inji in round 15. So 4-3 in terms of victories, Elaché over Ted Bjork.
Always look incredibly smart, don't they? The liveries on the Lincoln Co's, and each car identifiable from the different colours on the wing mirrors, with Yann Elaché with the pink wing mirrors over the course of this weekend. Easy to identify, little flashes on either side of the car. It doesn't take long for them to get things up to temperature. They really do push the tyres, don't they, on that outlap to be able to push on the first lap out on in earnest in this free practice session. Free practice 1, they get free practice 2 this afternoon as well, and then tomorrow they go into qualifying, and Saturday qualifying race, Sunday the gear race of Macau.
But they also have that split qualifying, so half an hour P1, and then the top 12 go into the second period for 15 minutes, and the grids are based, the first race is the normal order, like the natural order, and then race 2 is based on the top 10 being reversed. So if you're 10th in qualifying for the second race, unless you get a grid drop penalty or anything sustained in the first race. And the races can be elongated here to 12 laps if there's a safety car, so they get a little bit more grace if the races are interrupted.
So clear lap this actually, just watching him around this lap. No traffic behind, no traffic in front. Very clear circuit at Macau, which is not something you can say very often, is it? Because once you get into the realms of qualifying and race as well, you get everything bar a clear lap around the gear circuit. So this is something to savour for Yann Elaché. It's going to be our first benchmark time as well, just waiting to complete the final sector and find out what the benchmark time is going to be from Yann Lachey. It's a 2:32.164, top of the times for Yann Lachey.
Well, we know the cars in qualifying trim, and we're not there yet, can do 2:27s. I know there's no such thing as a qualifying lap record. Lap records can only be set in the race, but the best qualifying lap ever around here, a 2:27.966 from Norbert Mikelish, but we are a long way from that as yet. It's a different run plan in pre-practice to qualifying. That gives you an idea of what the cars could be capable of. There, going over the timing line then, is Mark Kumho, and that puts him 4th fastest. So it's Lachey from Santiago Urrutia. One driver that was on the original entry, but sadly has withdrawn, Dusan Borkovic, who was the winner of the gear race last year. He's done a part season, but sadly isn't back to defend the gear race title. So Lachey, Mikelish, and then Losing up to 5th fastest, go back 3 years ago. He had a huge accident, didn't he, in the local TCR race, but a quick driver, Loseho, and I think he's going to be a factor because he's got good track knowledge and he's very competitive. Number 281 in the car going through Lisboa. We've also got representation from the Australian Championship that's had a rather torrid season numerically. Ryan McMillan and Josh Buchan are 2 drivers to watch from that, and Josh Buchan has been an outright race winner in the World Tour this year. He won the first of the 3 races at the India circuit. On board with Lachey, and he has done 2 personals and 1 absolute best so far, but there's a bit of traffic up the road now.
Yeah, there is. We're looking at the lap times as well for Nicolas Krona, who has gone purple in the first 2 sectors, so overall best in the first 2 sectors, then a personal best in sector 3 as well. But this is early days in this session, and it is only half an hour in duration. The 2 single-seaters free practice sessions that we've had so far have been over 40 minutes, so it being free practice, the clock does continue to count down, so to have an interruption in a half an hour session, if you bear in mind how long the circuit is, the outlap from pit lane to get things up to temperature, if they can possibly complete this without an interruption, that will set everybody else up for a much better weekend, in particular going into this afternoon's free practice 2 and tomorrow's qualifying as well.
Norbert Mikelish then making the run down towards the end of the lap, currently 3rd fastest. Track map focus then on the dash, comes over the timing line, goes up to 2nd fastest then, does Norbert Mikelish. The track map is there, not because he doesn't know where he's going, but if somebody says, well, there's a yellow at turn 5, you can quickly look at that and know exactly what part of the circuit is being referenced. Mikelish has been on the podium here 5 times, 1 in 2023 and champion in 23 and 24, but a tough season this year for him.
Yeah, so he'll have good memories of Macau, claiming the title, the World Tour title for TCR twice here at Macau, and for so many touring car drivers on the world stage, they remember this skier circuit so well for being the scene that they are crowned champions. Remembering Andy Prio excelling here for many, many years at the final meeting of the year. Might not have come into the final meeting as the top driver, but certainly emerging after a good weekend at Macau as a champion once again on the world stage. So it's iconic circuit for the touring cars on the world stage.
Esteban Guerrieri at the escape road at Lisboa, bonnet up and worried faces for Nestor Girolami's team. So now Guerrieri needs to get the GOAT Racing Honda back in the right direction. This is where you discover how limited amounts of lock there can be on a race car. And Guerrieri's trying to do the 3-point turn as well as keep the engine going. So far, so good. And he will be able to set off, and when there's a gap in the traffic, he can rejoin.
Some really impressive engineering names in touring cars on that football, isn't there? Very impressive indeed. As the teams look on, they have obviously data and also the timing screens in the live television pictures, and the notification coming from car 186 has rejoined, so it's good news for Guerrieri. Mr. Guerrieri, the Argentinian driver, it's back on circuit. It's Ascona. We said to look out for Ascona. Ascona with the top time at the moment, 2:30.353 for Michael Ascona in the number 196 car, the one we're looking at now, the Hyundai, and about to complete another lap.
With 10 minutes of the session completed then, as Michael Ascona now makes the run down towards our bend. We just had Martin Haar go up to 5th, and then he gets back down the order. Right, over the timing line goes Ascona, and he is fast to 30.353, the best lap time. And this is going to explain what happened to Esteban Guerrieri. So riding on board as he comes down towards Lisboa and realises he's not going to make the corner, goes on the escape road, and then tries to sort himself out from there. But I think that was pure and simple, arriving and outrating himself.
That's a great description of what you said, and that you don't have much of a turning circle inside the car. You saw the full width of the escape road, and he turned the wheel. Not a great deal happened, did it?
Totally.
Multiple point turn to get the car turned around and get it back on circuit, which fortunately it did.
Michael Ascona, after a very tough season, he's only had one win. He's absolutely flying at the moment. He is top by a 10th from Jan Elake, so Hyundai ahead of Lincoln Co. And then you got Mikulich ahead of Santiago Urrutia to be 3rd and 4th. Urrutia, another of the Lincoln Co drivers these days. Guerrieri, by the way, is circulating again. He's just gone over the timing line.
We've spoken about many of the drivers that have been on the world stage in touring car racing for many years. One of them, Ted Bjork, of course. He second in the championship. One of the two drivers competing. He's down 9th place at the moment with 4 laps completed. It is only free practice, but it will give us insight into what to look forward to tomorrow with the 2 free practice sessions today.
Big lockup from Ascona getting up towards Donna Maria. There's a yellow flag at turn 19 as well, towards the end of the lap. So Ascona pressing on. Yeah, Ted Bjork, oh dear, Ascona getting ever more toey. Throws the back of the car up against the guardrail coming out of the Macau hairpin. Ted Bjork winning championships as long ago as 1999. He was Nordic Formula 3 champion, so he is a veteran racer these days, but a very successful one. Number 69 is the car that has caused that most recent yellow by clouting the barrier. That is Andy Liang's Hyundai. He's the slowest in the session anyway. But turn 19 barriers have been assaulted by him. So there's a yellow in that 4th sector. Whether or not he's able to get going, we will find out. But for the moment, the session remains live. Ted Bjork's just pitted, incidentally.
From him before this session, that late call-up. He's down there in 10th place at the moment, so that's not too bad, is it? First few laps completed on the gear circuit, bearing in mind 1 week ago probably had planned a nice weekend, popping off to the shops and keeping things nice and local, and then all of a sudden finding himself in a race car.
The other one to keep an eye on is Pepe Oriola. We heard from him before the session started as well, but Oriola, who's the red flag is being shown because the car can't be removed seemingly. Pepe Oriola hasn't raced since 2023, and the last time he was at Macau was 2018. So the Goat Racing team manager put into the car for the weekend, but he's a little bit race rusty. So it is the car of Andy Liang that is the barrier, and that's why this session has been stopped. Not had a shot of how bad the damage is, but clearly able to get the car out of harm's way. So, oh, there he is, in fact, just hidden at the Macau hairpin. Looks, he's gone straight on. I would offer you that that's probably more mechanical than having hit something, because he's way off the line.
He is, yeah.
And it's not a place really that you're going terribly quickly. Unless he's had a big moment earlier on coming out of the rear and he sort of rattled his way. Can't see any time marks to suggest that.
It's a very bright car, that. So, tangerine and black colour. So it's, you can just spot it there in that little corner up at the Macau hairpin. So, needs to be recovered to get things back on the way. But it's also an opportunity, you can see, for Kumho Oriola's car to have a couple of little tweaks to the setup. Teams can get to work on that, cooling the engine down. There's leaf blowers. Everybody else onwards and inwards into pit lane, but the important thing about this is that the clock will continue to count down, and we talked about that during the single-seater sessions for Formula Regional and for F4 as well so far this morning. And they had 40 minutes, so it was maybe less damaging to the session that we had recoveries to be required. This is only half an hour,
yeah,
so
true.
this really is eating into the session now.
So the cars coming down the pit lane, including Yann Lachey, with whom you ride, and the teams will do whatever needs doing before the cars head back out onto the circuit. Now I'm hoping, therefore, that Andy Liang's car can be moved fairly swiftly. So we will find out there. They think goes going back into position.
Certainly they're well equipped with, I was going to say, well equipped with grains down there. They certainly are, and what a mighty bit of kit as well it is that is able to lift the 69 car up.
So Ashkan, Lachey, Mikalish are the order. Let's go to Alex.
Thought I'd have a quick word to Esteban, who we saw struggling with his turning circle a minute ago. Firstly, Esteban, little birdie told me that you were a bit poorly yesterday, so I'm checking how you're feeling now and also what you've learned out there so far, other than your turning circle.
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, I am feeling a little bit under the weather, like in English say. Yeah, it's some sore throat and a bit of flu. But yeah, taking some medicines, hopefully yeah, it's getting better. Yeah, out there it's exciting, nice as always to catch up with the rhythm of Macau. Tricky, every time you go out there it's tricky. So I was already straight in Lisboa once with front locking. So yeah, trying to catch the rhythm, and then now we go for a new tire run to get up to pace.
Just before you head back out, Eve, just come around here, cameraman, come around here. Esteban, tell us about this picture on your car door.
Yeah, that picture is from Milo. Milo was, before leaving, it was the first time he wrote something, and he wrote, I love you. So I told him I take it with me and I put it in the car. So yeah, it's a nice way to keep them close.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Esteban.
So the artwork inside the car from Esteban Guerrieri's son, and the session is due to get back underway in about a minute and a half's time. That is to be confirmed, but that's the first option from the race director. A bit of work going on under the bonnet if you wanted to. The session will restart on a short call. In other words, as soon as we can go, we'll go. So get on your toes, everybody. And there you've got the crane dropping the car of Angelina back down to earth.
It is a mighty bit of kit, that, isn't it?
It is. I could have done with that to pick me up yesterday when I ran around the circuit getting to the hairpin. I was flagging by then.
I'm not surprised.
So
look how many people are here.
I was going to say how busy it is. Yeah, exactly. It's great to see.
Super, absolutely super. The grandstands are immense here at Macau.
Yeah,
absolutely immense.
Where we are, overlooking the start and finish area, the grandstands in front of us, but down on the outside of turn one, and even more so at Lisboa, where there's always a great atmosphere.
Yes.
Talk to some of the photographers that go down there, and they say it's always a great atmosphere on the build-up to a race, because everybody can see the big screen, see themselves, and the atmosphere builds. Here, though, tension is built, and the green flag is waved, and we're back up and running with 10 minutes on the clock in FP1 for the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour event of Macau gear race practice session. We're back underway as Pepe Oriola then ushers the GOAT Racing Honda down the pit road.
much more experienced drivers, of course. Many of these drivers have competed here at Macau many times, and when we've had these sessions resumed this morning for the single-seaters for the FR World Cup and for the F4 World Cup, many of the drivers have not been in before, so we were sort of slightly nervous about how much they were going to push on during this this outlap. Hopefully we're not going to see that from the touring car drivers, because maybe a little bit more experience of the gear circuit, how you have to respect it to get the cars back up to temperature. That wasn't too long to wait down in pit lane though, was it?
No, no indeed.
Which is good news.
And again, these drivers, as you say, they are experienced. Those that have been to Macau know the difficulties that can come, and their engineers will be the calming voice on the radio. The Cooper going through, Aurelian Comte, one of the drivers we need to keep an eye to. 107 there is the SP Competition Sylvain Poussier's team run car, and Aurelian Comte then down towards, there's about 9 minutes on the clock. It was here last year, wasn't it, that we had a track blockage and a stoppage in the first race. But hopefully with a slightly smaller grid this year, things like that could be avoided.
Ashkona is top of the times in this first free practice session of the weekend for the TCR World Tour. 2:29.971 is the time for Nicolas Ashkona so far, and Jan Alaché, championship leader, heading into this final meeting of the year. Currently second, Norby Mikulits, the champion for the last 2 years, currently third. Santiago Urrutia is fourth, and Martin Park, Rosie Ho, completing the top six. The top year comes into this weekend second in the championship. Journey to this final meeting of the year. Coming down there in ninth, and completing the top 10 is the late call-up driver Max Hart in Part 108. So they're now continuing to thread their way around the top parts of the circuit, get heating those tyres, and also get maybe pick perfect track position as well, letting someone through and slotting in behind to get the ideal position on track for this remaining 7.5 minutes of the session. And that's Jan Alaché, 168 championship leader, on board with Jan Alaché.
And he's half a second down on Ashkona right now, so Alaché is in the mix. Threads the car down towards Lisboa. You see how narrow it is even through the corner. Short straight, turns right at San Francisco, climbs the hill now. And again, Alaché, with good track positioning here, has put himself pretty much in splendid isolation over the brow, but then he's got to still keep going left and right, turning his way then up towards Maternity, which is here, and then down towards Teddy Yip and on towards the Solitude S's.
I find it hugely anxious being on board in a touring car around the gear circuit. You see the amount of input that they're having to do into the work, the corrections, the constant corrections.
Sits in third gear, fourth now, speed building, down a gear, goes left through Faraway Hill, down towards Moorish. Hard on the brakes, dives downhill, sharp right, back on the power. Brakes early though, because this is another very tight, almost 90-degree right-hander coming from Moorish Hill up towards Donna Maria now.
Into the left-hander, the long left-hander at Donna Maria. And then downhill towards the no overtaking zone at the Melco hairpin. Very tight and demanding Melco hairpin with the touring cars threading their way around here, as with the GT cars a little bit later on. It's no mean feat to get the cars threaded around that Melco hairpin.
Right, now this lap from Alaché has got two absolute bests in it, so it's been a good one. Making you nervous, but it's been a good one, although I reckon he's a little bit wide there, isn't he, coming through Fisherman. So Alaché up towards the end of the lap. You can see how the sectors of Alaché, Björk and Mikulic will stack up against one another as Jan Alaché threads the car now through Arbend up towards the timing line. He's got to do something to get him into the 229s, really, to put himself in the mix against Ashkona, and he comes over the timing line now, and Alaché does a 2:30.4. So yeah, the last sector did rather unravel.
But Ted Bjork has done well. Norby Mikulec goes top, 2:29.964. Ashkuna therefore down in second, 2:29.971. And Mr. Girolami is there in third place. Jan Ellershey in fourth place. Ted Bjork got right up the order, but everybody gets better. So Esteban Guerri goes up into fifth place. Ted Bjork is now up into sixth place. So the driver second in the championship heading into this weekend. Norby Mikulec, top of the times, 2:29.964. Car 105 minutes. Into the lane. Mr. Girolami third, and Jan Ellershey presses on and has just gone purple in sector 2. So not a personal best in sector 1, but Ellershey has gone overall best in sector 2 now, and that's the return to pit lane of Mikhail Ashkuna. Car being pushed back in pit lane. We've only got just under 4 minutes of this session remaining.
I was wondering whether that might be it, but Jan Ellershey is still out there. Now, 2 absolute bests done this time around. As he comes towards Moorish Hill and accelerates up towards Donna Maria. And again, he's got the road to himself. It's quick, it's neat, it's tidy. He goes through that long left, straightens the car out now. Narrow part of the racetrack anyway, down to the very, very narrow Melco hairpin. He simply doesn't hit the sector 4, which is where the speed starts to build. So it's the fourth sector starts slow and then speeds up, and he doesn't improve there. So it's another up and down kind of a lap this from Jan Ellershey. The Lincoln Co. accelerates again down towards Fisherman's. A little bit wide here on that previous lap. This time around then, Ellershey, the 2015 French Super Tourism champion, 2021 World Touring Car champion, looks good. He comes down towards our bend, and the championship leader then accelerates up towards the timing beam. The last lap that he did was a 2:30.7, and that's the quickest of the session of anybody, a 2:29.510. So Jan Ellershey puts himself at the top of the times, and significantly, Ted Bjork, championship leader, is only sixth. Very much now advantage Ellershey.
Shows you how significant sectors 2 and 3 are. We saw it earlier on for single-seaters. You can set the world alight in sectors 1, 4 and 5, but if you do in sectors 2 and 3, then you can end up running right up the order, exactly like Jan Ellershey has just done, and go to the top of the times. 2:29.510, and we only have 2 minutes of the session remaining. Mikulec in second place. He's just completed sector 1, has done a personal best in sector 1. Ashkuna is coming out of pit lane, so just a very brief pit stop for Mikhail Ashkuna, and has just left pit lane, has completed sectors 1 and 2. And Esteban Guerri is currently in fourth position and is on sector 2 as well. Quite interested to see how Max Hart does. He's coming down there in 12th.
But he's improving on this lap, just done a good first sector.
Yes,
Esteban Guerrieri was being a bit hesitant there as he went through maternity, but maybe that's all part of the plan. That Pepe Oriola's session pretty much done. He is in the pit lane. Mikhail Ashkuna did go back out, incidentally.
Yeah, just on his out lap now.
So get the heat out of the engine, get the blower on to cool the car down. Pepe Oriola getting the rust off. Carpe diem, it says on the side of the car. He has done exactly that by getting himself to 9th fastest in the day.
This lap for Jan Ellershey, not even a personal best in sectors 1, 2 or 3. So is it this lap into pit lane? In fact, it might be 2:29.510. Jan Ellershey, championship leader, top of the times thus far, and less than 1 minute of this session to go. That's Max Hart there, and you have to be brave in these touring cars on that section, don't you?
Yeah, Esteban Guerrieri, I think we've seen going slowly earlier, and it does look like he's backed out of it, so that made Max Hart's life a little bit easier. He was able to get past the slightly slower car, but you're right, you did have to be brave. The flag is imminent, so Max Hart's going to take the flag this time. Others, I suspect, may well bail if they'll have the information on the the display in the car. If they're not up on sectors, they might bail and come straight into the pit lane. Norbert Mikelish has just gone through, but he goes slower. This is Ted Bjork. The flag is out. Lachey has pitted. What's Bjork going to do? Well, he's just started his last lap of the session, in fact. So Ted Bjork down to 7th in the times. He's done a 2 minutes 30.7 as his best. So Ted Bjork is 1.2 seconds slower than Lachey. That's a big gulf in identical cars.
It really is, yeah. Top two in the championship are 1st and 7th in this first free practice session. Mikkel Ashkana on this final lap has just gone overall best in sector 2. So 27.565 on the second sector for the car down in 3rd place. And the clock counts down to 0. So Jan Lachey into pit lane. So too Esteban Guerrieri. And so too Oriola. All into pit lane now. At the end of free practice 1. Come out again, local time, 20 past 2 this afternoon. That's not too far away. So short turnaround for the touring car teams.
Ashkena's having a red-hot go, isn't he? Because he's done 2 absolute bests on this lap. And so Mikkel Ashkena, trying to round out what's been a very difficult season for him with good results here, is certainly on the attack. So you've got Link & Co from Hyundai.
3.
And that's a 3rd absolute best, yeah, as he comes to the end of sector 4. Mikkel Ashkena then coming down towards the end of the lap. As I say, it has been a tough year for Ashkena, but never rule him out. Certainly a very, very competitive driver. He's been the European champion in 18 and 21. He was WTCR champion in 2022. He's been a class winner in the Nürburgring 24 hours. Only 8th in the championship, but in the times, Ashkena goes through now, breaks the beam and goes fastest on a 2:28.244. He is 1.2 seconds quicker than Lachey. That is a monster lap.
Point proved there at the end of free practice 1. Absolutely superb lap. 4 out of a possible 5 purple sectors for Mikkel Ashkena, and a 2:28.244 is mighty at the end of free practice 1. For the Macau gear race, the Kumho FIA TCR World Tour event of Macau.
So Mikkel Ashkena it is then who is fastest. Jan Lachey 2nd, and he's with Alex.
Pipped at the post in the final few seconds. However, a good free practice session. Do you feel like you got out of that what you needed?
Yeah, we don't really know what we need at the moment apart getting confidence on the track, obviously. And that's what we did in FP, you know, was just getting to the rhythm. I pushed, obviously. I pushed actually quite a lot. We are in a position now that it's a bit difficult to know if I want to take a lot of risk or not, but I want to fight for a Macau win anyway, even though we have the championship at the end. Yeah. But that's why we're pushing now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. How are you going to balance that risk versus reward this weekend? Because you haven't got a Macau accolade on your wall, and you probably need one, don't you?
Yeah, I actually need one pole plus win. It looks like the Hyundais are quite strong this weekend, but to be honest, I will push as hard as I can, maybe slightly margin in some places, but my main goal is to win the championship, but I will focus on the weekend itself so far.
Good skills, good start.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. So good to hear from Jan Lachey. I think when Alex set off in his direction, he was quickest, but by the time Mikkel Ashkena came through, he was down to 2nd, and 1.2 seconds is quite a margin. So it is first blood for Hyundai over Link & Co, with Hyundai 3rd and then Honda 4th, courtesy of Esteban Guerrieri. So good effort that by Mikkel Ashkena to top the times. Jan Lachey 2nd, but you can see the margin, 1.2 seconds between them. Norbert Mikelish 3rd, Esteban Guerrieri 4th, Nestor Gerolami 5th, and Santiago Urrutia 6th. Ted Bjork will be disappointed to be 7th. Marshall Ha likewise only 8th. Pepe Oriola's return puts him 9th, and local driver Lotse Ho rounds out the top 10. After that, Ignacio Montenegro from Max Hart 12th, heading TCR Australia, Ryan McMillan. Then you've got Aurelian Comte from Josh Buchan, with Sean Chang and Andy Liang 16th and 17th in the times then. Good effort done by Mikkel Ashkena, and a gauntlet well and truly thrown down to the opposition in the first session of the day, and Norbert Mikelish making his way back to the pit lane. Sun's starting to break through now at Macau, and the touring cars for their second free practice session will be out this afternoon, 2:20 local time. So if it is going to be a sunnier afternoon and warmer temperatures, we'll wait and see whether that's going to affect life. But Mikkel Ashkiner topping the times. Interesting session, that, the way the pendulum seemed to swing, Alan, between the Lynk & Co and Hyundai teams. But Mikkel Ashkiner rounds out FP1, topping the times.